What if the ordinary dime sitting in your pocket right now is quietly holding a secret that most people walk past every single day? Look closer. That 1990 Roosevelt dime. The one that feels light in your hand. The one that jingled in change for decades. Could this common coin actually be worth more than 10 cents to the right collector? Why do serious collectors still hunt for certain examples from this exact year? And what hidden story does a coin from 1990 still carry in its metal? Stay with me, because the answer is more emotional, more visual, and more surprising than most people expect. The year is 1990. America is changing fast. The Cold War is ending. Technology is accelerating. Yet the United States Mint is still producing the same small, silver-colored coin that has honored Franklin Delano Roosevelt since 1946. That design was never just about a president. It was about a man who refused to let polio define him. A man whose March of Dimes campaign helped fund the fight against a disease that once terrified families. Every time a 1990 dime left the press, it carried that quiet legacy forward into a brand new decade. Picture the scene inside the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Massive presses slamming down with tremendous force. Copper nickel-clad planchets feeding into the machines at high speed. Over 1 billion dimes pouring out of Philadelphia alone. Nearly 840 million more from Denver. San Francisco struck just over 3 million proofs for collectors. These were not rare coins by any traditional standard. They were everyday money, the kind that disappeared into cash registers, vending machines, and kids' pockets without a second thought. But look at the design itself. John R. Sinek's portrait of Roosevelt faces left with quiet determination. Liberty arcs above. In God We Trust sits near the chin. The date 1990 rests below. On the reverse, a torch of liberty stands between an olive branch for peace and an oak branch for strength. The details are small, but they are powerful. Most people never notice how sharp those horizontal bands across the torch can be, or how the olive leaves catch the light, or how the initials JS hide near the truncation of the neck. Those hidden details are exactly where collectors begin to lean in. Most 1990 dimes show average strikes. The bands on the torch often look soft or incomplete, but when a coin receives a full bands designation, every horizontal line stands out clean and complete. That level of strike quality is far rarer than the mintage numbers suggest. Suddenly, the same ordinary dime becomes a different object. Collectors study it under magnification. They photograph it. They compete for it. Mint marks matter too. A P from Philadelphia, a D from Denver, an S from San Francisco on the proofs. From 1980 onward, even Philadelphia carried the P mark. Location tells a quiet story about where the metal was struck and how it traveled through the banking system. High-grade examples from either mint can climb in value when the surfaces remain clean and the luster still spins under light. Circulated pieces stay near face value. Uncirculated coins in average mint state often trade for a few dollars, but the very finest graded examples, especially those with full bands, have reached into the hundreds of dollars at auction. One exceptional 1990D even approached the $500 mark in the highest grades. Condition is everything. A coin that spent years in pockets, drawers, and coin jars carries scratches, wear, and the soft dullness of circulation. A coin that somehow escaped that journey still shows original mint luster. Professional grading services examine every surface mark, every strike detail, every degree of preservation. The difference between a worn piece and a gem can be the difference between 10 cents and serious collector interest. Here is the emotional truth that keeps people searching. Coin collecting is rarely just about money. It is about connection. A 1990 dime might have been the first coin a child received as change after buying candy. It might have ridden in a soldier's pocket. It might have sat in a grandmother's jar for 30 years. When a collector holds a high-grade example, they are not only holding metal, they are holding a small, unbroken piece of that ordinary year. The year that felt ordinary at the time and now feels strangely distant. Imagine the coin under soft museum lighting, the torch glowing, the profile of Roosevelt looking calm and resolute, the reeded edge catching the light as it turns slowly in someone's fingers. That visual moment is what makes modern coin videos so powerful. Close-ups, slow zooms, the quiet sound of metal against metal. Viewers can almost feel the weight of history in a coin that most people would spend without looking twice. And yet, the mystery remains. Somewhere right now, another 1990 dime is waiting in a jar, a drawer, or a roll of change. Most will stay ordinary. A few will surprise the person who finally looks closely enough. Collectors understand this feeling. They understand the quiet thrill of checking the reverse for full bands. They understand the small rush when a mint mark and date line up with a coin that still shows original surfaces. That is why the search continues long after the year itself has faded from memory. So here is the question that brings us full circle. What if the ordinary dime you almost spent yesterday is still carrying a forgotten piece of 1990? What if the hidden details on its reverse or the quality of its strike are stronger than you realized? And what would it mean to you to discover that a coin from an ordinary year still has the power to stop time for a moment? Look at your change tonight. Turn a 1990 dime under a good light. Study the torch. Feel the history in your hand. If this story made you look twice at a coin you once ignored, tell me in the comments what year and mint mark you found. Subscribe if you want more stories like this one, stories that turn everyday metal into something cinematic and unforgettable. Because the next rare coin worth money might already be sitting in your pocket, waiting for someone curious enough to notice.